One of those programs that has quietly become one of the most consistently successful programs in club sports on the Grand Canyon University campus. That is the topic for today's In the Club podcast. Everything you wanted to know about GCU club sports but were afraid to ask. And I'm Jim Howell, here to get you all the answers with the man who is next to me in the box. He is a man who not only is beginning his 6th year as the Lopes head coach, he helped build the program from the ground up. When Dan Nichols tabbed Ben Canfield to take over the program, he knew exactly what he was doing, because ever since then, they have raised the bar a little bit higher every year, including 3 straight national tournament appearances, and it would have been a 4th last year, but Ben and I will talk about that in a little bit. And he was also a Coach of the Year finalist a year ago. All of this was laying the groundwork for a great coaching career on the heels of a great playing career. As a bowler at Arizona State, you see, he was the JBT Player of the Year in Arizona, a second-team All-American, and he was also a 4-time academic All-American. Ben Canfield, welcome to our microphones. And I kind of want to go back to when Dan Nichols said, you know what, you want to start this? Kind of talk about what made you decide, I want to be a bowling coach.
Well, I was pushed by my coach at Arizona State to pursue it, and it just made sense for the direction my life was going at the time. I had a successful career in college, like you mentioned, and I wanted to pursue bowling at the next level, and a part-time coaching job just made sense for what I wanted to do and be able to travel and compete on my own. And so I talked to my parents, I talked to my coach Jordan, and it just seemed like a great fit. Dan was basically like, hey, here's the reins and build something great like you experienced at Arizona State, and the rest is history.
You're one of the few coaches on our club sports staff that coaches both the men's and the women's side of the sport. Some are co-ed, but you've got 2 different sets of teams. What differences are there between being a coach for the men and coach for the women? Are there different nuances?
For sure. It was daunting. I mean, that was one of Dan and I's goals, was to start a women's program. And so the second year I was here, we were able to do that. Fortunately, I had some really good talent coming in on both the men's and women's side. The women's side, the way that they attack the lanes is extremely different compared to the men, because they don't throw the ball as hard and they don't put as many revolutions on it. So the lanes break down differently, and it's just a completely different environment. It's also a lot louder. There's cheers like you're at a college softball game, and the men is more just like, loud claps, and it's very intermittent. So just the environment itself can be a bit different.
Well, I think people get a taste of that environment because you have a lot of tournaments you go to all over the country at times, especially when you reach nationals, as you have the last few years. But usually the way you start it is pretty special, because you come back and you host an annual grudge match with Jordan Nasberg, your old coach, and ASU. And that environment down at Thunder Alley, for somebody who's never seen it, is there a way to describe it? Because technically it doesn't really count on the books, yet it's as intense as anything you're going to watch.
Yeah, that event is something I look forward to every year since we started it 5 years ago. Unfortunately, they took the trophy back last year, but we're looking forward to when we're going to be able to bring it back home. It's hard to describe. It's really cool. Jordan and I love it, and we want it to be a fun, engaging event for our teams, and whoever wins, it doesn't matter. We just want people to remember, hey, this is how we kicked off our season. And I think it's been really beneficial for both of our programs to have a highly competitive event like that before we travel, usually within the next couple of weeks, to our first tournaments in California.
And the 2019 version of that grudge match was probably as electric as any. And what was great was that what came out of it was extreme excitement all the way down to the last frame. And then there was some adversity, but kind of talk about the Josh Mabry story that came out of that.
Yeah, so last year he was our lone senior, 2-year captain, been a part of a lot of our success. And he just had a freak injury in the 5th frame of the last game that was going to decide the match. And we were a little bit behind at the time, but we definitely needed him to come through. And we were all kind of in shock at the time. And it was just a great learning experience for us as a program, and how to move forward without our biggest leader and one of our best bowlers. But he came back in January and gave us everything he had. He traveled with us in the fall and helped me on the coaching side of things. And it was just really great to see where Josh came from as a freshman to having a really high the year before, and then his last year was a little up and down. But it's a great story, and I love sharing it.
Student empowerment, he's the epitome of that, and I know that's something that you really preach hard. And we talked about at the beginning that you have made 3 straight national tournament appearances, and when I brought that up to you, you said, well, technically it's not 3. Kind of explain that.
Yeah, our postseason got cut short last year, like a lot of sports that compete for nationals in the spring. So we were a top 10 club program once again, and we had our flights booked to Indy. And we also we were about to hop in the car before I got the call from Dan to go to Dallas for sectionals to try to repeat our performance to get back to ITC nationals too. So, definitely disappointing, but we're just looking forward to putting ourselves in a position where we can get back there once it's safe to do so.
Now, we keep talking about the high competition of your program, but we're kind of only talking about one tier. And if somebody is watching this and they're thinking, well, I love to bowl, and I've done city leagues, and I've done Friday night and Saturday nights, I kind of like that, but I don't know if I can go bowl 200, 250 consistently. What do you say to them about the bowling team?
Yeah, we have a developmental program that bowls right alongside of our travel team. I've had bowlers that have taken their first year and learned a lot there, and then tried out the next fall and made the team and worked their way all the way up. We also started a recreational team last year. That's just for students that want to get involved. The sport of bowling is something you can do for your whole life. Leagues make it so that you can compete whether you average 100 or 230 and still have a great time. And so one of my goals is to continue to provide that opportunity and educate all levels of the sport, and not just the people that want to go win a national title.
So whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're travel level or your developmental level, there is a spot for you on the GCU bowling team. So now that begs the question, how do you get involved? And here is how you do it. Both the men's and the women's teams each have dedicated spots on our website. They each have their own page, and Ben has his own coaching bio. You click the contact me button and you can contact Ben directly for more information. Also, if you want to get involved via social media, Twitter and Instagram are very, very busy for both the men's and women's bowling teams. So you see those and you can join up and find out more information. Ben Canfield, good luck this season. I know it'll be kind of a revamped season as everybody gets used to the new normal, but it does whet your appetite for the grudge match and everything that is coming GCU's bowling's way. And so until we come to you again for the In the Club podcast, I am Jim Howell, and we will see you later.